Welcome. In today's video, we will be demonstrating how to measure your cushions when ordering replacement foam. When ordering a new cushion, it may be difficult to gauge whether you're measuring it correctly or not. It may even be daunting if you don't even know where to start. This video will be the guide to that problem. In today's video, I will be showcasing every single step to measure your T cushion so that you can order with confidence. You will need the following to measure your cushion effectively. 1. A tape measure. 2. A paper and pencil. Note that this is not necessary if you don't need to make many measurements. And finally, 3. Your emptied couch cushion covers. It's vital that the cushion is empty during measurement to avoid any mistakes with old or bloated cushions. Once you have all your tools, it's time to start measuring. To properly measure this cushion, you will need to measure the front end of the cushion, the depth of the cushion, the back end of the cushion, the center of the cushion, and the ear of the cushion, both the outer, the back, and the inner ear. Remember to measure from seam to seam. When measuring your cushion, it's best to make a diagram on a piece of paper to show all the measurements. We will first measure the front of the cushion. You will measure the front of the cushion by measuring from this seam to this seam. That is 33 inches. Next, we will measure the depth of the cushion. You can get the depth of the cushion by measuring from this seam to this seam. That is 25 inches. Now we will measure the back of the cushion. For the back of the cushion, you will need to measure from this seam to this seam right here. That is 21 inches. If your cushion tapers towards the back end, you will also need to measure the middle of the cushion. That is 21 inches. Now we will measure the ear of the cushion. For the ear, you must measure the inner, back, and outer parts of the ear. So first we will measure the inner ear. That is 5 inches. Next would be the back of the ear. That is 6 inches. Now the outer ear. 5 inches. Finally, we will measure the thickness of the cushion. To measure the thickness, you must stretch this out and measure from seam to seam. That is 5.5 inches. Now that we've got our measurements, it's time to update them accordingly based on what kind of cushion we're getting. If you are ordering a foam-only cushion, meaning you're not adding Dacron to your order, you will need to add a 1/2 inch to all of your measurements, aside from the ear dimensions, which you will add a 1/4 inch to. If you are ordering a cushion with Dacron, there is no need to make any additions to your measurements. If the thickness of your cushion is not a whole number, you'll need to round up or round down depending on how close it is to the whole number. See this chart on screen for more details. Once you have made the necessary changes, you can go online and input them into our cushion calculator. And there you have it. That's how you measure your T cushion so that you can order with confidence. Please note that this video is only for the T cushion. If you need help with the rectangular cushion or the L cushion, you can find the links for them here. If you have a cushion that was not mentioned in these videos, you will need to go online and reference the diagrams that we have on our website. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to know more about our products, you can head down to the link in the description, or you can go to foambymail.com for more information.